Hey guys, Roger Peterson here with Toucan Do. Good morning. Here at Toucan Do, we're always trying to um, build powerful and effective relationships with other men because we see their value, because two can do what one cannot. Jonathan David, amazing men, accomplished a ton of stuff, and they partially did it because they had each other to support and encourage and challenge. And we head down those roads of powerful and effective relationships with men through the elements of questions, courage, and change. Questions, courage, and change. But part of my job is to encourage you to go down that road. Most men really don't tend to look down the road of relationships and yearn for more, other than female. Most men don't understand the value of a quality friend. And so part of my job is to encourage you to think down that road and to head down that road. And today I want to do that through a song lyric. There's one of my favorite songs of all time. It's written by a lady named Honeytree. And she was back in the early 70s, maybe late 60s, with the very beginning of the contemporary Christian movement. Well, later on in her career, probably 20 years ago now, she wrote a song called Pioneer. The chorus says, "Pioneer, pioneer, keep pressing onward beyond your fears. Only the Father goes before you to your own frontier. You're a pioneer." This talks about we all have an individual path that God wants us to go down. But my favorite line in the song says this. She's motivating the person to go down that road herself. And she said, "Because those who come after you will need the road. You be a pioneer, because those who come after you will need the road." And when I think of those who come after me, I primarily think of my children. I had a event with my son, Kyle, when he was a lot shorter than me. Now he's a lot taller. And I remember I was mad at him, and I was yelling at him. And I looked down at him, and he was looking up at me with terrified eyes. And all of a sudden, I saw my dad and me. And I remembered how terrified my dad used to make me. You see, my dad's dad, I never met him. My dad's, my grandpa on my dad's side, he died when my dad was 7. And I never met my dad's mom, who died in Western State Hospital. But they raised a son and a bunch of kids who were angry and defensive. How do I know that? Because I saw my aunts and uncles. I lived with my dad. And you know what my mom and dad produced? They produced me. What did I struggle with? Anger and defensiveness. Saw it in Kyle's eyes that day. And I recognized it as a pattern and a dysfunction. And that's the road that I was paving for my kids. And if I didn't deal with my dysfunction, you know what Kyle would end up struggling with? Anger and defensiveness. We really need to be pioneers in dealing with our dysfunction. Because those who come after us, they're going to walk on and live on the road that we paved for them. And if there's ruts in that road, our kids are going to fall into those ruts. We can't solve all of our issues probably, but we can make it better for our kids. We can become more gentle. We can become more courageous. We can become more verbal. We can become more patient. We can learn to listen to them. We can learn to accept them where they're at. We can pave a different road for them. But you know what it's going to take? You being courageous. You paving a new road for your kids. And it's never too late, no matter how old your kids are. It's never too late to start building great stuff in them. I'll never forget that day that I looked down on Kyle and saw myself. But I'm happy now, many years later. And I still struggle, but it's a different day. And Kyle doesn't look at me with those eyes. Besides, he'd be looking down on me. But we're good friends now. We can laugh. We can play. We can talk about that day. And he says, nah, it's a different day. My boys see me as a gentle, loving man, standing beside them and encouraging them. Perfect? No way. I get it wrong all the time. I still press them too hard sometimes. But it's a different day. Pioneer, keep pressing onward beyond your fears. Only the Father goes before you to your own frontier. You're a pioneer. So I want to encourage you to maybe lean into two can do as a scary thing that would lead to a healthier road for your children to walk on. Just an idea.